Despite having zero superpowers, Daredevil's nemesis Bullseye can turn any object into a lethal projectile. The first time he realized he had a gift for hurling objects with lethal force was when he decapitated a bird with a yo-yo. As the years went by, he became a mercenary and a personal assassin of the Kingpin. However, Bullseye is best known for being the man who never misses. Unfortunately, he lost this title after he failed to kill Daredevil. With his reputation tarnished, Bullseye has been obsessed with the man without fear ever since. But there's still a lot of mystery to uncover behind the character. So, I'm Will for What Culture, and here are 8 mind-blowing facts you didn't know about Bullseye. Number 8. No one really knows who he is. Despite battling Daredevil for over 4 decades, next to nothing is known about Bullseye. This all seemed to change in the story Bullseye's Greatest Hits, where he divulged his backstory to several inmates while he was in prison. He reveals that his real name is Lester and his father was a drunk who regularly beat him and his brother Nate. Lester and Nate vented their frustration by shooting pigeons on his rooftop. One day, Nate seemed to have enough. He told Lester not to come home so he could kill their father. When Lester eventually did come home, he saw his house was in flames. The fire killed Nate as well as both his parents. As a result, Lester was forced into a foster home. However, Bullseye admits that he made this entire story up and his brother has 3 kids and lives in Iowa. Bullseye then said it was he who set the fire, but his father survived the blaze and the only reason he allowed himself to be arrested so was that he'd be sent to the same prison as his dear old dad. Bullseye then escaped and burned down the prison, leaving his father to die yet again. Number 7. He kills for fun. When assassins like Elektra, Black Widow, and Taskmaster kill a target, they do everything in their power to avoid leaving a paper trail. Bullseye, on the other hand, couldn't care less about keeping it quiet. When he gets bored, Bullseye picks up paper clips, cards, pencils, etc., and launches them outside, killing anyone they strike. One time, he burst the tire of an ambulance with a paperclip. The ambulance crashed, killing half a dozen people. That's right, he killed 6 people with 1 paperclip. And if you thought that was too over the top, he has, in his own words, tracked an Eskimo huntsman on foot across 200 miles of Arctic tundra and killed him with nothing more than an icicle made from his own frozen feces, which is someone's fetish somewhere, so enjoy. Number 6. Originally, he killed because of a tumor. Worried that the character would come across as generically evil, the writers decided to flesh out Bullseye. It turns out that the real reason he was obsessed with killing was due to a tumor lodged in his brain. As the cancer grew, it forced him to hallucinate, making him see every person as Daredevil. Since he has an obsession with the superhero, Bullseye was compelled to attack every person he came across. Readers hated this idea as it took away from Bullseye's menace. Some would argue that it ruined the character since his compulsion to kill was due to a mental illness rather than his wicked nature. It also didn't make sense since he was already a known assassin before he crossed paths with Daredevil in the first place. As a result, this idea was dismissed and hastily forgotten, as many terrible comic ideas were. After he had his tumor successfully removed from his brain, he continued to kill and wreak havoc upon Daredevil and his loved ones. Number 5. He inspired others to kill. Maki Matsumoto is a Japanese woman who was sold into slavery by the Yakuza when she was a child. As the trade was about to occur, Bullseye swung by and wiped out all of the gangsters. He wasn't trying to rescue Maki and the other girls from their captors. In his mind, it was just business. Nevertheless, Maki was inspired after witnessing the assassin effortlessly killing the Yakuza. Years later, she became an assassin and took on the name Lady Bullseye. Not only is she an expert with katanas and shurikens, but she is actually better at fighting than Bullseye. Considering he is among the most deadly non-superpowered characters in the entire of Marvel, that is quite an achievement. Lady Bullseye usually tangles with Daredevil. Since he is blind, he relies on hearing and smell while battling a supervillain. However, he has great difficulty fighting Lady Bullseye since her pulse is almost undetectable. She learned a meditation technique that keeps her pulse perfectly level and masks her scent so she is nearly invisible while Daredevil fights her. On top of that, she's been a hired gun for the Kingpin and had him groveling at her feet at one point. In a nutshell, this is one person you don't want to underestimate, and she traces her roots all the way back to dear old Bullseye. Number 4. His many creative weapons. If you've seen the Daredevil film, you'll know that Bullseye can kill someone with a seemingly innocuous object like a paperclip, a peanut, or a playing card. In Kevin Smith's comic series Daredevil Bullseye The Target, which was never completed, Bullseye is hired by a group of terrorists for a job. When they ask to see him in action, he flicks a toothpick at a young mother through a window, killing her. Although the terrorists are astounded by his skill, he says, "Could have done it with even less." Another time, he killed dozens of inmates in prison armed with nothing more than a pack of playing cards. When the guards realized how dangerous Bullseye was, he was put in a straitjacket and fed through a straw. They liquefied his food just in case he tried to turn a pea or a potato into a projectile weapon. Despite these precautions, the prison still managed to underestimate him. When a guard got too close to Bullseye, he broke his own tooth out of his mouth and then spat it at the person's head, fatally penetrating his skull. So the big question is, what is the most ridiculous object that Bullseye has turned into a projectile weapon? Well, he has killed people with an apple, a CD, a coffee pot, a hairbrush, a straw, and a paper aeroplane. However, my personal favourite is when he hurled a poodle at Venom and the poor dog got stuck in his eye. I just love dogs, and dogs in comics, even better. Number 3, his father was a supervillain too. Remember when I said Bullseye incinerated a prison to kill his father inside? Yeah, he was pretty mad about that. After the fire, Bullseye's father, who called himself Kingmaker, was left horrifically scarred. His lungs were damaged so much that he relied on an oxygen tank to breathe. Furious with being left an invalid, Kingmaker vowed vengeance on his son. Kingmaker captured Bullseye with the assistance of the mercenary Solo and prepared to transfer his brain into his son's body, giving him a chance for a second life. There was just one snag. You see, Daredevil broke Bullseye's spine many moons ago, crippling him. The crime lord, Darkwind, told Bullseye that he would fix his spine if the assassin worked for him. With no other choice, he agreed, and Darkwind then laced Bullseye's skeleton with the indestructible metal adamantium, allowing him to walk again. The key word there is indestructible. Kingmaker couldn't insert his brain into Bullseye because his skull cannot be penetrated. Upon this revelation, Kingmaker was left distracted, allowing Bullseye to finally kill his father. Number 2, he became Daredevil. In the 3rd season of the Netflix series Daredevil, Wilson Bethel plays Bullseye. The crime lord Wilson Fisk hires him as an assassin and has him commit crimes while dressed as Daredevil to frame the superhero. You may not know that Bullseye donned Daredevil's identity in the comics as well. While Matt Murdock took a sabbatical from crime fighting, Bullseye pretended to be Daredevil to see what it was like to play the hero. Due to his unstable mind, Bullseye convinced himself that he was the real Daredevil. Matt knew that talking to the crazed assassin wouldn't convince him otherwise, so Matt used a much more effective tactic. He dressed up as Bullseye and beat the crap out of him. Once defeated, Bullseye realized that he was deluding himself and he returned to normal, or at least normal by his standards. Number 1, he survived death itself. Bullseye's most infamous moment was when he killed Daredevil's lover Elektra by impaling her on her own side. Although Elektra was resurrected by the ninja clan, The Hand, Bullseye wasn't finished with breaking Matt's heart. Years later, he killed Matt's other lover, Karen Page, by stabbing her in the heart. Bullseye succeeded in killing both of Daredevil's lovers. How did the man without fear not snap? Well, that's the thing. He totally did. Matt Murdock became the leader of the Hand, believing he could turn the clan into a force for good. Sadly, he was corrupted by the group's dark magic and became evil. When Bullseye invaded the Hand's headquarters, Daredevil snapped both of his arms and then impaled him with a sigh, echoing Elektra's death. But if Elektra can return to life, so can Bullseye. Shortly after his death, Lady Bullseye performed a ritual to resuscitate the man who inspired her to become an assassin. And now you know, nothing can stop Bullseye, not even death. And there you have it, folks, 8 mind-blowing facts you didn't know about Bullseye. Drop this video a like if you enjoyed it, and swing on by What Culture for daily news, lists, articles, and all that other good stuff every single day. I'm Will for What Culture. Remember to brush your teeth and drink plenty of milk, and I'll see you next time.
Hello YouTube, we're turning things up to 11 with the launch of What Culture Music.
It's our brand new channel featuring all those lists you just can't get enough of, including creepy hidden messages in your favourite pop songs.
As well as radio-friendly songs that detail literal murder. That's as well as chatty faces where we get personal with you on our sordid musical tastes, in-depth discussion podcasts, and we're even doing quality fun stuff like tournaments and quizzes too.
There's going to be something for everybody, so come on over and make some sweet sweet music with us.
Or just watch the videos. That works too.
Like, share, and subscribe at the link below, and we will see you there.
Bye.